What is going on, everybody? It is episode 881 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and I hope that you all enjoyed your weekend. I know we did. We were partying, dancing to Sean Kingston. Not really, I was.
There was like a 2010 playlist that went super hard.
Yeah, just a little get together, and I was really enjoying myself. And you thought it was my playlist, actually.
I did. I mean, that didn't make any sense because we weren't at your apartment. We were elsewhere. So
I was like, give me the aux, and I just immediately start playing Sean Kingston and like Chris Brown songs.
I heard Jay Sean in there too.
And Jay Sean.
I was
down.
That might be the last great pop song in my
like she supposed to be. She gets down all over me.
So I made a post
down
about
like her temperature, cause to me she's 0 degrees. She cold. Like, what is the rest of it? I don't remember the rest.
I posted not that long ago because in that music video for that song, Lil Wayne wears a shirt that says communist on it.
Yes.
And
yes,
I pointed.
does.
I took a screenshot of it. I said, back in the day, we used pop stars as our recession indicators, and somebody's like, I don't get it.
Gotta start pinching the pennies, because Jay Sean is making a comeback.
Because the 2008 financial crash affected everybody, so Lil Wayne was gonna go full commie.
There are signs. I'm just saying, like, everything is jokingly being called a recession indicator now, but I do believe that one.
Lil Wayne in a communist shirt. Definitely.
Is Justin Bieber putting out an album a recession indicator?
No, because his first big CD was 2010, which was 2 years after the crisis.
Well, we could just say anything is a recession indicator.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the fact that this is his first album to not reach #1 immediately could be a recession indicator.
Actually, yes.
They're like, look, I got money. I just don't got Justin Bieber album money.
Yeah. Well, we will be talking about that later in the show.
So speaking of that, guys, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already.
Gosh, we have a 20. I'm sorry, I missed this one. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. I just heard that Trent Horn's wife, Laura, has been diagnosed with brain cancer. They are asking for intercessory prayers through Venerable Aloysius Schwartz. The prayer is on my ex, Pax." Yeah, I heard about that. It must be a terrifying situation that they're going through, but yeah, definitely prayers up for them.
I would also like to, she's
of course, very talented and funny.
There you go. I was very impressed by your pronunciation of Aloysius.
I know that pronunciation because I read Brideshead Revisited in high school, and one of the characters has a teddy bear that he carries around with him named Aloysius.
There's a skate company called Wish, which is spelled O-Y-S. It's the second half of that name because the guy who created its name's Aloysius.
Nice.
So, for years, everybody would just call it Oisy.
Oisy?
Because that's what it would look like. Because it was O-Y-S.
I mean, I wouldn't clock that.
Yeah,
personally.
But yeah, so I wouldn't have caught. If I had seen this before that company existed, I wouldn't have known how to pronunciate that. But good job.
If you're named Aloysius, everyone is gonna call you Al.
They are, yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Guys, hit the like button on this video as always, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. I'm not gonna lie, I have a new desk fan and I already regret not bringing it in here because I'm already overheating. But
I feel great. I feel fine.
This is the worst.
The AC is working again.
Barely.
I am thriving.
I think Mary turned the temperature up while I was out of the room.
It's relatively temperate today, though.
So hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Share it out with everybody that you know. Like and hate in equal measure. The more people that you share the content with, the faster this channel can grow. So thank you guys so much for that. So what are we getting into today? Well, the first of all being that it is a bad time to be a pop star right now. Every single one of these concerts seems like a Final Destination movie. We got Beyonce nearly dying in cars being suspended above the stage. We've got Katy Perry nearly dying in accidents suspended above the stage. I don't know why they have to be above the stage anyways. I don't know why they can't just be on the stage, but I digress.
She has a death wish.
We are going to get into that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. So we're going to talk in just that and the number of fails she's racked up on this tour.
This poor woman.
That's what she gets for sex positive feminism. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the female gaze. Why is it appropriate in
Not
Hollywood?
the lesbians.
Not the lesbians.
The one that they do with their eyes.
Yes. When the Gaze, when they're staring at the menses on screen. Why is that appropriate, but the male gaze is not?
Well, we're also going to attempt to define what the female gaze is and should it change.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about this brand new TikTok trend, because there's always a brand new TikTok trend of women. They are heading out on their first dates with no makeup on. And, you know, judging by what all the men have been saying for a long time, this should be a huge hit with all of them. So we're going to talk.
Yeah. Well, some of them have a happy story to tell about how it went, and then other ones say that they got ghosted afterwards because it doesn't match their Tinder profile. So
I mean that, or maybe they're just a bad person. We'll never know. So
yeah,
we got that.
They could just be super annoying.
She's just an absolute jerk the whole time. She's like, I don't know why you didn't respond to me. I told them that we had to get married at exactly 1 year and 26 days, or I was gonna leave.
Down to the second. And it has to be just at that moment. If it's anything earlier or later, he's out.
You've got till the end of Trump's second term to propose and get married. Otherwise, I'm out of here. All right, you ready to go?
I think I'm ready.
Let's go for it.
Okay. James Gunn is currently on the last leg of the press tour for Superman. I've been seeing more of him than I've been seeing of the actual cast of the movie, and I'm kind of sick of it. I think it's because he's an egomaniac, and it's funny because he is reacting to his own interviews in real time. These interviewers are asking him about things that he said in an interview the previous week, and he has to clarify something that he said over and over and over again. This time, it is really stemming from his comments about Superman being an immigrant story, which was a classic case of someone taking the bait from a journalist, and it didn't go well for him. And they're also reacting to the box office for Superman in real time. It's doing well in the US, but overseas not performing quite as well. And James Gunn has a theory as to why that he shared in the Rolling Stone interview from over the weekend. They say, there seems to be a thing where superhero movies, including Superman, maybe are not connecting the same way in international markets that they are domestically. Is there anything to be done about that? Or is it just a fact of life now? And he responded, we're definitely performing better domestically than we are internationally. But internationally is also rising and having really good weekday numbers in the same way we are. So obviously the word of mouth is very positive both here and everywhere else, which is the thing that we needed to do the most. At the same time, there are certain countries in which it's performing really well, Brazil and the UK. Superman is not a known commodity in some places.
Stop the cat!
He's not a big known superhero in some places like Batman is. That affects things, and it also affects things that we have a certain amount of anti-American sentiment around the world right now. It really isn't helping us, so I think it's just a matter of letting something grow. For us, everything's been a total win, having the movie come out and be something that has been embraced by people everywhere. This is just the seed of the tree that Peter Safran and I have been watering for the past 3 years. So to be able to have it start off so positively has been incredibly overwhelming.
Okay, so again, as I said, as I burst out there like a child, he's lying. Superman is exactly what a known commodity is all over the world. Everybody knows who Superman is.
Well, would you say that he's less known internationally than Batman?
He is every bit as known. He's part of the trinity of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and everybody knows who Superman is. Just because people don't necessarily want to watch the character does not mean they don't know who Superman is. Yes, Batman is probably the most well-known superhero in the world, but the idea that Superman isn't a known commodity is not just a lie, it's a bad lie. Like, it's a really bad lie.
I mean, he's just trying to pin the tail on the donkey somehow that doesn't place the blame on himself and the way he wrote the movie or marketed the movie.
I also thought it was funny because he talked to the interview. It wasn't him, it was the interviewers. Like, so are the movies like doing better here? No. Superhero movies in general do better overseas than they do here. At least they make more money long term overseas than they do in the US. I thought it was funny because I think it was Avengers Endgame did like $858 million here in America, which is a lot. That's almost $1 billion, but did nearly $2 billion internationally.
Okay. I mean, I don't know because I don't follow this stuff.
So so generally movies make 30 to 40% of their money domestic and 60 to 70% of their money internationally, depending on the film. But for a movie like this, you really want to see those numbers closer to split. You don't want to see a heavy American overperformance because it means that it's not connecting internationally.
Well, he's not wrong in the statement about anti-American sentiment globally, but I think there's more anti-American sentiment in America than anywhere else. Am I wrong to assume that? I feel like there's more hatred, there's more self-hatred in America than there is anti-American sentiment overseas.
Is the idea then that a great deal has changed as far as the sentiment, like anti-American sentiment against this country has gone on for a long time, certainly a lot longer than the last couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a meme of like people in other countries disliking America. That's nothing new. But Top Gun Maverick did just as much money overseas as it did here in America. And that's about as American as a movie can get, being as that it's about the American military. It's about an American military group fighting a unknown or unnamed foreign adversary. Like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that argument at all.
Well, they also did what they could to distance themselves from Superman's American aesthetic and branding and public image.
Well, then that falls into the category of when you make something for everybody, you end up making it for nobody.
Right. So this is just our set of circumstances in a globalized world. He also addressed some of the political statements that he made about Superman in his previous interview with The Times in the UK. And first off, they mentioned the super shit comments that were featured in the movie in the monkey bot farm. They said, "You've been vocal about your own experience dealing with online trolls and the online rumor mill. I was curious if this was a direct commentary on what you experienced online over the years."
It was kind of funny how in the movie Superman tries to play it off like he doesn't read the comments, and Lois kind of calls him out. I forgot, until we talked about this before the show, I forgot that part of it. One of the biggest uphill battles for Lois in the movie is that she's kind of a cunt. She is. She's kind of a dick to Clark when they're doing the interview under the guise of reasonable journalism, where she's kind of hitting him with barbs.
Well, I think that line is maybe a self-deprecating remark that James Gunn added in there about himself because he is known for getting scrappy with people in back and forths on X, or not on X, on Threads actually. But he said,
of course he's on Threads.
"When I thought of the monkey bots, I thought of the foreign governments that are enlisting bots to try to sway public opinion in the United States. More that type of thing. At the end of the day, does it reflect all the anger? I was looking at somebody who was writing something really nasty the other day online. I don't really see too much anymore, but this one guy said something going off on the movie in an especially mean-spirited and weird way. The comic writer Mitch Gerards posted a little keyboard and a monkey next to it, and that's been something I've been seeing a lot lately, which is funny. And that led them to talking about the super woke controversy. This was how Superman was dubbed by Fox News, I think by Kellyanne Conway.
I mean, before the movie even came out, so it didn't make any sense anyways. And that was very annoying.
I found myself laughing about the Fox News and the ultra-right coming out to label Superman as super woke. It's not lost on me that scene where Lois is interviewing Superman. The phrase super woke sounds exactly like something the in-world critics of Superman would say.
It does.
And he said, "I've heard people say it was woke, then I've heard a lot of people say it's not. I'm curious as to what in the movie is considered woke. I think some people took something I said from the Times. Originally, the interviewer said that Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were the sons of immigrants, and they wrote Superman as an immigrant story. And I said, it's a story about an immigrant, but mostly a story about kindness, which it is. That's the center of the movie for me. That's the thing we can all act upon, is kindness. And so what does that lead to? What does that lead to the way you vote? Sure. Does that lead to everything? Yeah. Does it lead to how many people are dying from road rage? Yes. All of those things are affected if people just start to value kindness. I mean, people did value kindness in the past. That was an American value, and it doesn't necessarily seem to be that way to me anymore. So that was always the center of the movie, and it wasn't about anything other than that. So now he's backtracking even further on his comments about Superman being an immigrant story.
Do you think that that's true? Do you think that Americans valued kindness more in the past than they do today?
I think that we've lost decorum and civility.
In the real world or just online?
In the real world and online. I have noticed, I mean, maybe it's just because I drive a libtard car, but I have noticed a lot of road rage. People do seem to be on edge all the time. People just in daily life seem to be really neurotic and defensive almost. There is a growing anxiety, and people seem to be more aggressive now. They care less about politeness. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say that politeness is the same thing as kindness, but I agree with the heart of what he's saying. That
well, those ideas, the idea of being polite to your neighbor and all of those kind of, they performed a very important social function, which kind of, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. It's part of the cohesion that keeps everybody together.
Yeah.
It may be fake. It may not even be real, but it is your ability to adhere to social norms that actually helps keep society together.
Yeah.
Look, him even talking about whether people, nobody I know called the movie woke. It was, I hate that word.
It was mostly just
it was Fox News. It was like I didn't.
It wasn't
even
just Fox News.
But I'm saying I didn't even see it until Fox News did their stupid article and their stupid headline and their stupid segment because Fox News is stupid.
I mean, I have my hot take, and it's that Superman is woke because of the way that they costumed Lois Lane. But that's just me being a contrarian.
There were other... Look, I saw Disparu's comment. He says, blaming it on anti-American sentiment is cope and will stop you looking for the real problem as you gave yourself an easy out to blame. If you'd said it's pattern recognition, that American movies have gone down in quality, you may have something rather than just quote-unquote America.
I would disagree with the idea that kindness is an inherently American value, that it's somehow uniquely American.
Do you mean more like a Western value?
I suppose, but that's almost like saying tolerance is a Western value.
Yeah.
That seems to be twisting history.
Mm-hmm. Here, the one thing that I thought was interesting, so because this was a debate that was going on between the box office in America versus the box office internationally, from what I saw, the movies are actually split. Now, I'm not gonna count Batman vs Superman as a Superman movie because it's got Batman first in the name. But if you were to look at all of the Superman movies up to Man of Steel, 3 of those movies ended up with more money internationally than domestic, which was the original 1978 Superman, Superman 4, Quest for Peace, and then Man of Steel, and then Superman 2, Superman 3, and then 2006's Superman Returns with Brandon Routh all did better domestically. But if you look at it, you know, those numbers are not great across the board. And you want something like the Top Gun Maverick numbers, which were both in the high 700 million for both domestic and international, but it was just edged out by international.
Well, to go back to his theory about anti-American sentiment, I wouldn't say it's a reach to say that anti-American sentiment has something to do with it. In America, but he was he's not referring to it overseas.
He's using that as his scapegoat for the overseas numbers.
Yes, I think he was making a dumb excuse, and it was a bizarre way for him to word it. But my theory is that there is a certain palpable self-hatred in this country that has a lot to do with the fact that we can't celebrate a character like Superman the same way that we would have in decades past.
Yeah, because now that's what's interesting is like, okay, so self-hatred prevents them from making a movie that's extremely pro-America, as a Superman movie could be. And international hatred, which isn't as great as they're making it out to be, doesn't even matter because the movie isn't an American propaganda film anyways. There was one of those reviews that was like listed superhero movies as like American propaganda or something like that. Like in what way?
Well, depending on who you ask, some people will even tell you that it's pro-Palestine propaganda.
Yeah.
Which was a whole other conversation, a whole other can of worms.
I think that he's reaching for any excuse as to why those international numbers aren't what they need to be for this film to make the money that it needs to make. It's crossed $400 million worldwide as of now, but it's not making the money that it needs to if it wants to be the success that they were hoping for. I do think that it'll end up getting to that, very, very simple break-even point of like 2.5 times the budget, not including marketing, because marketing is another department. And, depending on the day of the week, somebody might include the marketing in that total cost. I know I have in the past, but these days I don't include marketing in the numbers for whether a movie's going to hit break even or not anyways, because they're from different departments anyways. So it's not even necessarily the same thing. So if the $225 million number is accurate, which a lot of people are saying that it's not, it needs to make like $560 something million to even come anywhere near profitability. And even then, remember, like these numbers, it doesn't really matter, because if it's $406 million, you're not there yet, and it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do think that they're all over the place with this. And I do wish more people would go see it, because I did really, really enjoy this movie. It's been interesting to see people be willing to critique the movie's performance while acknowledging that they liked the movie, which I did. So I hope the movie gets to where it needs to. But the second weekend, the weekday numbers were really good for this movie, but it was like a 54% drop. And that's right in the range of what they were looking for it to be. But that's in lieu of like bad box office overseas, which it's just not reaching.
Overseas moviegoers want to see Dinosaur.
Yeah, they do. It's doing Jurassic World is doing really, really well.
They want
overseas.
the Dino Slop.
Never bet against Dino Slop.
Yep.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Justin Bieber's new album, Swag, failed to hit #1 on the Billboard charts, and it might be a recession indicator. Sound off in the comments if you think that it is. It was beat out by Travis Scott's new album, which I didn't even know existed. However, Justin has been doing everything he can to promote this album, despite the fact that it was a total surprise drop for him. No one was expecting it. And his strategy for promoting this album has been quite bizarre and not effective. He is just blasting all of his social media pages, constantly reposting TikToks that people are making about the album and their favorite songs. He's constantly spamming his pages. I do think it's him posting it. Like, I think he is at dangerous levels of screen time at this point. He's like on his phone for 12 hours a day. Yeah. So like, it's hard to follow everything that he's posting online right now. And he doesn't seem to be in a great headspace. One of the things that he posted on Instagram just over the weekend was an interview from back in 2013 featuring DMX and this reality show host, Ilana Van Zant. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But this was basically on a show called Fix My Life. And the point of it is this interviewer is going to confront the celebrity or public figure about, their character flaws or what's holding them back in life. And in this clip, you see the interviewer asks DMX if he would consider getting sober in order to live out his full potential in life. Yeah. And he gets very defensive and pushes back and claims that he has no intention of, putting away drug use. Obviously, this did not age well, given the fact that DMX died of a cocaine-induced heart attack in 2021. So in a way, the interviewer was proven right in the end, but the comments were extremely illuminating. So I wanna play this clip that Justin reposted.
Okay, here we go. Want to live your life as a clean man.
When you say clean, no weed, no drinking, nothing.
Nothing.
Why? No.
You don't want to live your life clean.
Why would I?
Don't want is to. Why? Because it makes you a clear, pure vessel for the voice of God. That's why.
I think I'm exactly where I need to be with God.
Do you want?
Okay.
So the comments were saying things like, sober people are always trying to spread misery like they're perfect. and a bunch of people basically agreeing with DMX. I don't know if they are aware that he died due to drug use, but Justin saw this clip and probably thought that it was relatable to his own life. And it was just last week that he posted a video alongside Sexy Red because she was featured on his album. And part of the caption on his post said, "We're faded in this video, don't judge." So he is smoking copious amounts of weed. That much is clear. He's posting all the time videos of him smoking and holding bongs. And people are saying, you know, this doesn't seem like the Justin that we once knew. And it's funny because last year and earlier this year, I remember like Candace Owens making a lot of videos about Justin Bieber saying that he was getting sober. And that's obviously not true. I mean, maybe he was at the time, but now he, at the very least, is only California sober. He's definitely drinking and smoking weed nonstop and sharing it with everyone who follows him. And
wait, does California sober include alcohol? I thought it was just I don't know.
It's alcohol and weed, I think. I think that's the definition. But just back in February, Bieber's representatives said that he's just high on life. He's not doing hard drugs, guys. They said the recurring narrative that Justin is using hard drugs is absolutely not true. They say that the past year has been very transformative for him as he ended several close friendships and business relationships that no longer served him. And the persistent narrative about Justin's mental and physical health is exhausting and pitiful, and shows that despite the obvious truth, people are committed to keeping negative, salacious, harmful narratives alive. And, you know, if we're just going off of what we see of him in the public eye from paparazzi photos or videos or him interacting with fans, he definitely doesn't seem like he's of a sound mind. I want to show this TikTok of him from back in February where he's interacting with a fan, and he's wearing sunglasses inside, and he's wearing this ridiculous outfit. But aside from the outfit,
those shoes are crazy.
He's in this video grabbing at his clothes and like swaying back and forth and smiling at this woman. Like, I don't know. It's not normal. Like, am I reading into it too much? He's not acting like he's sober in this video.
I mean, it's kind of immaterial whether he is or he isn't. It's just a bunch of speculation for it. Do you think this is a bad sign for him, given the fact that he's addressing it? Like the fact that he's kind of pointing it out and saying, "I'm not going to change."
He clearly takes all of the commentary and criticism personally, and he's looking at all of the comments that people are leaving, and you know, because he's trolling through the internet looking for things to post on his own pages, he's very much aware of the narratives that are spreading about him online, which he shouldn't be.
It's very hard when you're in the combative stage of drug use to stop. It's also hard because he is of a level of wealth that doesn't require him to stop in a lot of ways. Like rock bottom for him will look very different than rock bottom for somebody who's just going to run out of money when using. His job affords him the flexibility to kind of do as he pleases and make money as he pleases. And the indicator for him for whether he's overindulging will be the familial fallout, will be the social fallout.
Right.
But the problem is that, you know, when you lose a job because of this stuff, that can be one of those hardest wake-up calls that you need to go and get help. And then the hope is that eventually you get another job. Sometimes when you screw things up that badly with family that you hit rock bottom, it's not always easy to get back what you once had.
Correct. And the major roadblock there is the fact that he's a husband and also newly a father. And as one of the comments on this video pointed out, marriage and babies don't fix your problems.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you can parent when you're high on anything, regardless of the rumors about what drugs he's taking. If he is high basically every day.
And I don't think California sober includes alcohol. I think it's just weed. Like that was always my understanding of what California sober was. I don't know if he's drinking. It doesn't really. It's immaterial really because he's being combative about the entirety of the premise of getting clean. And I feel for him. I do.
But the irony of posting the DMX video, knowing that DMX lost his life due to his drug use, isn't lost on anyone.
I guess most of like segments like this, they tend to make me more introspective, just given my history. Like, what a gift to pull yourself away from all that and get to a better place in life where you don't have to worry about the spiral as much. And anybody who's watched this show for any length of time knows that I'm certainly not going to be the dude who's telling them how to live their life or what choices they should make. I've often found that it doesn't help anyways, because telling somebody that they need help doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take you at your word and understand that. A person, much like how I perceive people's understanding of politics, is that it's something they have to come to on their own. Like, you can send somebody all the links to all the videos you want with whatever political commentator you think is making the most sense. A person usually has to be led to the truth, you know, on their own. And the same is oftentimes true of sobriety, that oftentimes you have to hit rock bottom on your own and find that you need to change when somebody else is telling that you need to change. And you know me, oppositionally defiant and all. Granted, this never happened to me in that case. I was kind of always aware that that at some point I was going to need to fix my shit, for the lack of a better term. Like, I wasn't naive or stupid, at least not in that sense. Plenty of other senses. But it's probably even harder for him to find that information because he is self-sufficient. He can make his own money. He can pay his bills. He can be there for his family when he needs to be because he's got nothing else taking up his time. And oftentimes the backlash will come from behavior amongst those that he loves. And he's already done that in a lot of ways, cutting people out of his life. You know, granted, we don't know anything about those individual situations, whatever that may be. He'll have to get there on his own, but if that clip is any indicator, it means that he's not there yet.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be, and again, like that person said earlier, it's a bit reductive and it's a bit of an over exaggeration about, like, you know, sober people trying to spread misery. But there is this notion when you're in the throes of use where somebody who has genuinely, there is a divide. There are people that have genuinely good intentions for you and want the best for you who will tell you that. But then there are also always just annoying people who are going to say the same thing in a much more callous and stupid way that's going to turn you off actually getting help, which is why, in my opinion, it doesn't even matter whether it's coming from somebody who loves you and has the best intentions for you, unless you're extremely open to listening to others, which a lot of people in general are not these days, but especially somebody who's in the throes of addiction. You're just not ready to hear it. So both of them are kind of fool's errand. Look, it's still good to try. Like, if you're family and you have loved ones, it is one of the worst positions to be in, to be related to and loving someone going through that, because they're going to cause, they're going through a lot of misery and pain, and they're going to cause you a lot of misery and pain. So perhaps the only wake up he has is when his family tells him that it's been too much. And even then, it's not always enough.
Well, the theory goes that he's being enabled by the people around him, and he's not only going through this while being independently wealthy and successful, he also has the cushion of being married to close to a billionaire. Yeah. And Haley allegedly sold her brand in order to bail him out of outstanding debts that he owed to Scooter Braun. So if that's true, that he pressured her to do that when she wasn't planning on selling her company, that's an enabling behavior on her part. And he's also going through this with people constantly watching and commenting. And I don't dispute the fact that people post things out of context and they twist things around, but there's no arguing with people's observations from that video or his interactions with paparazzi, or the fact that in every paparazzi photo that you can find of Justin from this past 6 months to a year, you can see on his face that he's out of it. And he's constantly, you can look up photos of him from the past 6 months. He's constantly pursing his lips like really tightly and like kind of flexing his jaw all the time. And his lips are really dry, and he's like constantly like pursing his lips like that in every photo. And you said that could be because he has dry mouth from all of the weed he's smoking. That definitely means that he's not smoking it in moderation or socially. That means he's just constantly in a state where his mind has been altered.
I guess
But
all of
it
this
could be
stuff
other
is,
things
like,
as well.
I don't know.
And
I
like
don't
then
know
he
whether
shows
that's-
up looking like he hasn't slept in days, and people are like, people from his team are saying, "Oh, well, he's not sleeping because he's working so hard on music."
Well,
like,
I mean, maybe the better answer is like because he's got a newborn.
yeah, or that, But how can you properly be present as a parent if you're high all the time? It's not possible.
It's a very, very precarious position that he's in right now. And he's 30, 29,
31.
30? So he's 31. He's at that age now where, look, it's novel when you're a young artist, and certainly drugs kind of come with the territory in Hollywood. It's always been a huge part of the culture there. But once you start having a family, and once you just, going through all of these different changes in life, you kind of expect that somebody's going to live a different way. And I don't know what he's on right now, if he is at all. Again, I'm loath to even guess. But if we're to operate under the premise that he is, given what he posted here,
Yes.
there's going to have to come a point in time where he's going to have to make some very, very big choices in life for the sake of his family.
I also want to mention a couple of things that we have gone over on previous shows. First off, the claim that he was getting fed drugs not only by friends or employees, but also by his own dad. That was
his
a claim
mom.
that it was both. It was a claim from a family friend that he saw Justin's dad giving him Percocet and telling him to take it.
Yeah.
And then other claims from his DUI arrest in 2014 that he had SSRIs in his system, and he didn't know what dosage it was because he said it was his mom who handled all of that for him. So there's that. And then also a post that he put up on Instagram only, I think, a month or two ago at most, where it was a conversation, a screenshot of a conversation he was having with ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT if ketamine can be used to control people's emotions. And we talked about that, I remember, on the show.
Yeah, I remember that.
And people memory hold it so quickly. Why would he post something like that? Like, what kind of hint are you trying to drop to people?
You know what I just realized? He's kind of like a weird version of Britney Spears in his social media engagement.
Yes.
Like, he just be posting shit.
Yeah.
And there's no
Way
rhyme or
too
reason.
much.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Like, regardless of whether he fixes his problems, he's certainly not doing himself any favors by sharing all of his ups and downs with the world and posting all of these emotional essays on Instagram about how he's feeling and disclosing all of that. That's not going to slow or stop the conversation about you having some kind of mental breakdown. If you want to convince the public that you're okay, probably best measure is to say nothing.
Yeah, there was like an Instagram account I started not following, like hit the follow button, but they started showing up in my feed, and it's this kind of horrifying. I forget his name, but he's always talking about getting sober, and to most people, it's very clear that he's not sober. And then the people in the comments are arguing about whether he is or he isn't. And I look at that stuff in kind of a horrified way of like the trappings of where you end up. Because I wouldn't wish addiction or withdrawal on my worst enemy. If I had a worst enemy, which I don't think I do. Maybe somebody in the chat is my worst enemy. But if you are, I wouldn't wish that life on anybody at all. You know, it's a hell of your own making, and it's very, very difficult to get out of. So he's got a long road ahead of him.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
All right. Now that we've got the depressing stuff over with, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's look at cringe first.
Cringe first. All right. We can do that. Close this. Here we go. It says the moment. Just
For context,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is in a showroom at an Hermes store.
Yeah.
And the employees at Hermes are instructed not to sell customers what they actually want to buy until they've had a long-running relationship for a matter of months, if not years.
Wait, what does that mean?
So if someone comes into an Hermes store and wants to buy a Birkin, these bags that run for tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, the sales associates are not supposed to sell it to them because they have to maintain this air of exclusivity. And this is the reaction of a woman in an Hermes storeroom where she is presented with a Birkin for the first time.
Wait. I'm so confused. So people go to these stores and get turned away.
Yes.
How do you get it for the first
Yeah,
time?
well, what you have to do, this is how they string you along. The sales associate is supposed to build a rapport with you, and
But not sell you anything?
they exchange contact information with you, and for months they string you along and they tell you, you know, we've got something in the store for you today. You're supposed to come in and you have to buy it no matter what. If you have any chance of buying a Birkin, you have to buy all of the stupid, ugly bullshit that you don't want first in order to earn the Birkin. So this is a woman's reaction getting offered a Birkin for the first time. It's absolutely humiliating.
If you don't come now, we'll never show you what.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, calm down. Yeah.
Okay, yes. You don't know what is it?
She hasn't even seen it yet.
Là, t'as causé un problème là.
It's okay? Yes. We breathe. Yes. I don't want you to have a heart attack right now. It's not the goal. Yes. Okay? Anna. So, for today. It's like the morning of Christmas, but even better. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. You don't know. No, you haven't got anything yet. The credit card hasn't been put inside.
I know. Wait.
This lady's like, communism couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my god. Are you serious?
Let's just.
She's-
calm
But she
down.
hasn't even seen it yet?
Alright, keep it with
That's
me.
what happened with Sydney.
I didn't even get to see it.
No, and the
What
crazy
the
thing is, if they want to sell you a Birkin, you're not allowed to pick which one. You're not allowed to pick the color.
They give you the... They
They
give you
decide
the,
for you.
how do you... Okay, has there been a documentary on this yet? I want to see a documentary.
If not,
on-
there should be.
There should absolutely be a documentary about how we've
Yeah.
turned people into such consumerist pigs that
Yeah.
this can exist. Like this level of exclusivity and fakeness.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is why the Workin was trending last year, because people found a knockoff Birkin that was sold by Walmart. And it looks the same. It's probably not the same quality, but
No, probably
you're
not.
not-
It's definitely
if
not.
you're
the
not
same
able
one.
to drop like hundreds of thousands of dollars at an Hermes store over the course of a year or 2 years, you're not going to get one. Like, you have to buy everything they offer you to earn the right to the Birkin. And this is why this woman is having a mental breakdown on the carpet.
I have to assume that there have been studies done by these companies about how to psychologically manipulate the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes along with, like marketing and everything, right? About
right.
how to create a false sense of rarity, a false sense of scarcity, which is that they could produce as many of these as they wanted, but it's manufactured scarcity through
Right.
opulence
Right.
and image.
Well, there are super fakes that go around of the
This
Birkin.
poor- like, this-
because like people who actually work in the factories steal the plans for
Yeah.
how they're manufactured and sell it to other companies.
Can I be honest? Like, I feel nothing but a deep sense of sadness for this woman. Like, she's probably...
I have secondhand embarrassment.
She's obviously doing well in life. She can afford it. Do they check their bank? It's kind of like when maybe guys would understand this better. Like, you want to go test drive a car at a high-end dealership, they're not doing that without a bank statement because they're not going to let you just take out and test drive the Bugatti.
Right. Yeah.
Like maybe that's for men.
Yeah. The supercars.
Yeah.
Similar. But sometimes those sports cars are cheaper than the bag.
Really?
Crazy.
Like, wait, what does one of these go for?
I would say on the high end, there are definitely some worth 7 figures. But like low end, tens of thousands.
Oh, for the pores.
For the pores.
For the Birkin pores.
They're like collectors.
They're like, here's the dollar menu.
I remember like Jeffree Star back when he lived in LA and before he sold all of his designer stuff, he had a whole like a literal vault in his house that was locked down and the most insane security system to protect against burglaries, and he had tons of these.
This comment says, I think this is the first time I sympathized with the French attitude.
What's the French attitude?
You know, they're kind of douchey.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah. They're overconfident.
Yeah.
You know.
If I were the sales associate, I would hate this woman.
I mean, I feel like if I was to take the company's perspective, her reaction should disqualify her from owning
I agree.
Like her,
yeah,
she's
you should
not
act like
nearly
it's no big
calm
deal.
and collected enough to own it.
If you have enough money to afford a Birkin, you shouldn't be this excited about it.
They're like, you're just in the bag, like they're texting. They've got a toxic group chat, like new money over here.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
All right, let's check out Cute of the day because that was awful. This one is from the Phantom. I caught this one. I didn't see this one. I missed it. This is from July 3rd. It says, "This is my 2-year-old bearded dragon chowing down on some dandelion out in nature. All hail orbital overlord." That would be me.
How do you become the owner of a bearded dragon?
I don't know.
Seems like a huge commitment.
I like it.
I wouldn't say it's cute, but it's interesting to look at.
There you go. Well, I guess we'll have to do interesting of the day sometimes.
Sorry,
I guess cute.
Cuteness is subjective.
All right, let's get started.
Katy Perry is currently on her Lifetime's world tour, and it just keeps getting more and more humiliating. I'm starting to think this is some sort of cruel joke being played on the public or on Katy Perry herself. I'm imagining that some arch nemesis of hers is the one in charge of planning this whole thing, and they're like unscrewing some things on her props for the tour, trying to kill her.
It does feel like a Final Destination movie.
Yeah.
Or a little bit like there's a saboteur who's trying to take her out.
Some evil gay with a clipboard backstage planning this out, trying to make her fall to her death. It was only a couple of weeks ago she got stuck in this metal cage mid-air at one of her concerts. And she could have fallen to her death at that moment. But this is a whole other moment in her concert where she's on top of this like bionic butterfly or something. I don't know what this is, but basically the prop malfunctioned while she was mid-air and she almost fell and splattered into a pink mist in front of everyone. So let's take a look at that video.
I mean, the more interesting version of this video would be like the person who has to pitch this stuff to them.
To Katy Perry?
Yeah, or the car to Beyonce. They're like, and you're suspended 30, 40, 50 feet above the stage.
Yeah, and then
you majestically fly, and it never looks the way that it's pitched. You're not majestically flying. It's like,
yeah, and then Beyonce had a similar thing, like in this prop car mid-air, one of the cables came loose and she almost fell to her death.
And I'm sorry, but I've still got a bit of PTSD from the death of Owen Hart, who fell off a rig like this while coming to the ring in wrestling back in 1997. It's like, this is a risk. Like, maybe there's an artist this works for. I don't know who
it's pink.
No, it's not.
Only
it's
pink.
Not pink either. It's got to be somebody with a really, really futuristic, like space-like style, and it's not Katy Perry. All right, actually, she did do that song E.T., so maybe okay, she gets a pass.
There
if
is
it's
one
for E.T.
Katy Perry song that justifies this.
Okay, here we go. And it definitely wasn't planned because she looked up and was like, look at her. Like, you
Guys,
can't really see right.
help.
Her face right here is like, I am so lucky to be alive.
I know. Yeah. She's like
She's
looking
like, thank
for
God
someone,
for the backing vocals.
anyone.
Like,
She's
and-
still
and she-
doing vocals.
And she is strapped in. That doesn't matter if the whole thing falls.
No, she would get crushed. I mean, I would be more worried as one of the people in the audience. Like, the audience would be dead.
Yeah.
For sure. If that whole thing came falling down, like, multiple people would get crushed underneath it. Yeah. There's another clip that I saw of her Los Angeles concert last week where she is mid-air, and this looked to me like a mistake, but I think it's actually part of the choreography. Spread eagle upside down. Yeah. Just legs in the air. This is insane. And then gracefully she put herself upright again.
It's giving that scene in the 2001 Tomb Raider movie where Angelina Jolie is doing like the bungee ballet and the bad guys come into the room and she starts like running on the walls in the bungee. And I was always just like, man, where do I get one of these bungee setups? That's what this is giving right now. Just a sluttier version of it because she's standing upside down with her legs open.
Yeah.
She's going to use that clip whenever she has to eventually launch an OnlyFans.
So these are just the physical risks. These are just the stunts. But another clip showed up on my feed where some fan somehow passed the barricade and ran up on stage to hug Katy Perry, and she had to address it to the audience. What a psycho.
That was about as graceful as you can handle that, though.
This was her. There's never going to be another show like this, so just enjoy it. But then the guy who ran up on stage ended up posting the video because he was proud of it.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Like, I don't think she wanted to touch you, bro.
Yeah.
She looks really uncomfortable.
The comment says, "Dear Katy Perry, thanks for letting me dance on stage." Well, I mean, it
Letting
was more
you?
that you got away with it, not
Letting
that you were being allowed to do it.
And then touching her is just like totally
Crazy
unacceptable.
business, yeah.
She didn't let you stop traumatizing artists. You did this at the weekend and other concerts too. Not okay. You're not famous. So this guy has a reputation at this point.
Okay.
You thought it was a good idea to jump on stage, and then you thought it was a good idea to post it here too. It doesn't look like she invited you on stage. Why do you think you're entitled to storming the stage and violating her personal space like that? What part of you made that seem like a good idea? This is not something you should be proud of. You can see Katy Perry is very uncomfortable. It's obvious that she would never let you do this.
I mean, the other question is, can Katy Perry actually play the guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from her background as like a worship singer. Yeah, she definitely can play the guitar. I don't know if she actually was on that part.
You know, that's the real movie that needs to be made about Katy Perry. It's like, it's not a biopic. It's like it's like an not alternate reality, but it's like a fake movie where all she wants to do is go on stage and play the guitar and sing. And they're like, no, you have to be strapped into a harness on a gigantic butterfly as it swings around the stage. She's like, can I play the guitar? They're like, you cannot play the guitar.
I say this about
You're not Eric Clapton.
Super Bowl halftime shows all the time. Every year it just gets more and more high production and all the stunts and backup dancers and costumes. It would make more of a statement at this point to just go up on stage and just sing a song and leave. But yeah, then this next video was actually our cringe of the day last week. And in case you missed it, it cannot be understated how embarrassing that moment was.
Somebody forgot the Crisco on the knee pads.
And then the dance that she does afterwards to try to recover her ego.
Okay, so what I'm picturing is like, there is just a very evil looking person. Maybe they're kind of like, they kind of have Rami Malek vibes. They're dead in the eyes. They're working backstage. You see them snip a wire on the giant butterfly, and then you see him hand some money to a fan to get them to come up on stage. Here, they're dumping a bunch of sand and dirt on the stage where she's supposed to be sliding across
it's like some Tom and Jerry shit where they're like throwing a bunch of marbles in front of her so she's gonna slip on her face. This next one is just some choreography. None of this is... This is
this guy's job this is just guys like, I'm going to give you the worst choreography ever.
This is her choreographer.
Actually, what it is this
sabotaging her.
This happened first, and then when the tour wasn't canceled because of how awful it was, he started resorting to desperate measures.
Yeah, this is only from last week, by the way. And people have been making fun of her choreography since the beginning of the tour, and she hasn't retired this one. This is a lightsaber fight with some backup dancer who's on cables in the air.
What's the point of AI if we can't do away with this?
Is she just too old to do anything more complex than this?
It's not. No, this would be.
She's in really good shape. She could just
This would
dance.
be cringy no matter what age she was.
Yeah. And this next video is captioned, "Going through a breakup in the middle of tour again with a hate train. Y'all really broke her." And you can see it on her face.
Yeah,
she has just lost her mind.
She just broke up
tearing
with
up.
Orlando Bloom.
Yep, she wasn't married to Orlando Bloom, but yeah, they just split up and they're co-parenting. But they're referring to a previous breakup because she infamously
Russell Brand
got a divorce text message from Russell Brand literally seconds before getting lifted onto her stage. Like 10 years ago.
I want to see Russell Brand do like a Rumble. I guess he's only on Rumble now. A Rumble exclusive, how to get divorced, and it's just send a text message, bro.
He's had only nice things to say about her.
Yes, he has.
But yeah, all of this tour nonsense, plus the Blue Origin space trip, she is not doing well. Like, her public image is at an all-time low at this point.
You know what it is? She's just going to go back into space at this rate.
How do you become an upwardly mobile pop star?
She's not going to be mobile for much longer 40. If she keeps doing this stuff.
Wait, I could be wrong. I wonder how old she is.
She's got to be early 40s.
Yeah, she's 40.
Yeah.
You can't really recover your career at that age. There are very few exceptions to that rule.
No. Okay. Does she have a residency? I'd be very surprised if she didn't have a residency somewhere.
In the future?
Yeah, or now. Like, does she have she's on tour now,
that is, of course, seen as a sign that your career is dead in the water.
Yeah, but you make a
to have
shit
a Las
ton
Vegas
of, from what I understand, is you make a ton of money.
Yeah, it'll make you money. It's just gonna tank your social cachet.
I mean, at this point, that slide across the stage and the lightsaber duel are gonna do that on their own.
The Las Vegas residency was the last time that Britney Spears was really performing regularly, and I don't think we're gonna see her on stage again.
I think that a lot of artists can have a renaissance in their career later on, especially if they change their style of music. Like if she starts releasing ballads or instrumental or acoustic albums and stuff like that, and gets away from whatever type of pop this is supposed to be, which isn't even in anymore.
No.
Like the type of pop she's doing right now isn't even in anymore.
The girl boss, like, she's
gonna
type
have
of
to,
pop music.
She's gonna have to go and do her own and start something new. Maybe she has a second half of her career going back to gospel music.
The single she released before this album came out was called It's a Woman's World, and you're lucky to be living in it. And people, even fans of hers, were like cringing at how out of touch that sounds in this day and age.
Yeah.
Like that has been played out for the past 10 to 15 years and blared at us nonstop. That kind of like girl power, you know, liberal feminism messaging in music has been done to death. And she comes from that era. So I'm not surprised that she's not able to innovate.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go to Super Chats. And before we get into it, I saw somebody mention this in the chat. I did not see this, but apparently, rest in peace to actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, who died in an accidental drowning in Costa Rica. Look, big dude, like big actor, and that's really sad to see.
Are there any details?
It says he was on a family vacation in Costa Rica and drowned while swimming after he got caught by high current. He died of asphyxia near, I can't pronounce that name, a beach in the city of, is it Limon? And
Not
his
sure.
body was identified by Costa Rican National Police on Sunday.
Wow.
He was in the Cosby Show. I think that's what a lot of people know him from. But I think he was in that show Jeremiah that I really liked back in the early 2000s. But that's very, very sad.
Yeah.
Let's. I just wanted to make sure that was actually accurate. So it's kind of a meme that
That
people
people in
RIP.
the chat are gonna say like R.I.P. Magic Johnson.
But in
every
this
day.
case, they said like, nah, why no mention of this, which isn't quite the same thing. So I don't know when this happened, but I just saw it now. So
All right. Quiet Inari said, okay, I'm not even gonna say that out loud.
Okay.
Brett, do you want to read it? You can read it if you want to read it.
Yeah, Quiet Inari says, I hate it when women scissor me with their eyes.
All right. Shane H. Wilder said, PSA, new Taco Bell sweet chipotle barbecue crispy chicken burrito is mid. It's like they just used Kraft sweet and spicy. Not the worst, but I wouldn't have it again.
Can I ask a question? When was the last time Taco Bell had something new that was? It seems like every time.
What do you mean?
Every
All the time.
No, I'm saying, no, let me finish. Every time there's like this new drop of new Taco Bell stuff, I never hear rave reports from everyone. It's always like, it was fine. And it kind of goes along with the idea that everyone makes it's like all Taco Bell is like the same 5 ingredients turned into different names. When was the last time Taco Bell released something new that you were like, holy crap, this is amazing?
I mean, when they announced the Cheez-It Crunchwrap, people were really excited. And then I tried it, and it did not live up to expectations.
Even I
because
tried that one.
The Cheez-It inside the Crunchwrap just got soggy, and it wasn't crunchy at all. So they should have like workshopped that one a little bit more before releasing it. But I can't remember them really having like a hit. They come out with new stuff all the time though, and it must be difficult to work in the Taco Bell lab, you know? People are always expecting you to come up with, the new like revolution in like Americanized Mexican food, and like
what does the Taco
there's only
Bell
so much you
lab-
can do.
Like I'm picturing like you go into the Taco Bell lab and there's beakers and you're like, what are the beakers
Well, they're
for?
just like coming out with new drinks all the time, which
Yeah.
is boring. I guess that is kind of the meta in fast food, though. Like
Yeah.
specialty drinks.
Just for
That's
their
happening
chain.
at every chain, yeah. Cold Leftovers said, reminds me of when Louis Vuitton would send Snooki a bunch of Gucci products because they didn't want her to be seen in public with the LV brand.
That's hilarious.
I didn't know that they did that.
That's hilarious. Guys, we're about halfway to a crisis party. Let's go ahead and get
It's been a
there.
while since I was reminded that like Snooki
was the thing?
existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's she doing these days?
Didn't they do a like a Jersey Shore reunion at some point? I'm pretty sure
They
did.
did?
Pretty sure at some point they did.
There was Jersey Shore, and then The Real Housewives of New Jersey, and there was another one. I could have sworn there was another Jersey Shore related TV show on at the same time.
Maybe.
That was like a moment.
None
in
of those
culture.
were my genre, so let's move on then.
Okay. We're going to have a debate about the female gaze, and we are not talking about lesbians. We're talking about the preferences of women for how they want men to look in movies and TV shows. So this was sparked by ex-user No Room for Wokeness. He posted a picture of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, as well as Alan Ritchson in Reacher, shirtless, absolutely ripped, like 0% body fat, and said, notice how no one, not a single soul, has ever complained about the female gaze in entertainment. His implication being these two images are perfect examples of what women want to see in Hollywood actors. And it's somehow a double standard that we're constantly hearing about actresses getting objectified and not male actors being objectified by female viewers. Now, all of the responses to this tweet were from women saying, actually, this is not an example of the female gaze. You're talking about stuff that men want to see. Mm-hmm. These are the physiques that men would want to see, and men would find them aspirational and attractive. Whereas this still of Tom Hiddleston as Loki is the female gaze. They said the female gaze would like a word, And I don't know. I didn't watch this show. I don't know why he's on his knees looking up at the sky like that, but he's fully clothed. Why is he wearing a leash? What is that?
The Tom Hiddleston in general, I think, look, Loki notwithstanding, Tom Hiddleston in general is kind of held up in that regard. But he's also an actor that's done a lot of stuff other than Marvel. It's just that Marvel is what he gets the most credit for.
Another comment said, liar, if he were 5'4", you would bounce him out.
I mean, what does that have to do with anything, though? That's not, they're not saying...
Okay, and then scroll down.
No, I'm sorry. What does that type of hypothetical even... then anything could be make you a liar if you change something about it.
Scroll down further, and there is a side-by-side comparison of Hugh Jackman and Tom Holland in drag.
Hold on. Going down.
I don't know if you guys remember that, but Tom
how
Holland
down?
dressed up in a drag performance
How far down?
a few years back.
I
I just sent you the link if you can't find it. But they said this is the male gaze versus the female gaze. I don't believe for a second that any women find it attractive when Tom Holland is wearing lipstick.
Well, they're giving you it's a false comparison.
This is a false dichotomy.
Yes.
I would say we can have a common sense middle ground between 0% body fat Wolverine Hugh Jackman and Tom Holland in drag.
Yeah, but
Am
look,
I crazy for saying that?
There were still plenty of women when they were criticizing this that said no, when they were criticizing and saying that no women are interested in Thor, that said, no, you're wrong. I'm a woman.
There are these photos of Tom Hiddleston holding a puppy. You have that? Yep. And they're saying that he is the perfect example of the female gaze. They also mentioned David Tennant. Women are always swooning over him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I disagree with what a lot of these women are saying is the female gaze, but I agree with them that those examples of Hugh Jackman and Alan Ritchson don't fit the bill.
The part about, like, if he was 5'4" was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because, yeah, anything could make it not true if you change something about it. That doesn't make any sense.
One of the replies said, the female gaze is perfectly exemplified by the fact that women are feral over Tom Hiddleston, while exactly 0 of us are attracted to Thor.
And again, that is not...
0?
That is not true. There are plenty of... literally, Vanessa Santos, friend of the channel, says, don't speak for me.
Yeah, she's saying she's attracted to Thor.
Donut Operator says, are there any women under 150 pounds who agree with this statement?
Yeah, so that's just a talking point that comes up whenever people are debating about the male gaze versus the female gaze. A lot of men will say women are lying about their preferences because they are basically inner citadeling the men they truly find attractive. They believe that those men are unattainable or out of their league and therefore convince themselves that they are not desirable. Mm-hmm. And in some examples, I would agree with that. But in other ways, I think men are just projecting onto women what they want. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, it just gets ridiculous. Like, women don't prefer men who are, like, on steroids and, you know, shirtless and covered in oil and, like...
Is this the birth control
have no
fault?
chest hair. Like, that's not what women actually prefer.
Is this... I saw somebody in the comments and one of them says it's the birth control. Oh, and somebody in the chat just said that as well. Is it the birth control that's causing women to say Tom Hiddleston over Alan Ritchson?
I would say... women not finding bodybuilders attractive has nothing to do with birth control, but women finding Tom Holland in lipstick attractive has everything to do with birth control. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, yes, it affects their preferences for sure, and that is proven that women who are on hormonal birth control have tricked their brains into thinking they are pregnant because they're not ovulating. And when you're pregnant, you prefer men who are lower testosterone who will make a more suitable father for your children. Whereas when you're not pregnant, when your reproductive system is actually functioning the way it ought to, you're going to find men with higher testosterone attractive.
You know how we settled this debate? We go to all of the Morning Glory Milking Farm books, and we look at the descriptions of the male characters, and we find out just then what these women are imagining when these like
but then even if we were referencing romance novels, we're definitely not taking a sample size of the actual female population. We're talking about the most extreme examples of like porn-brained, porn-addled, dopamine-fried women who are terminally single. So we're not exactly like going to use that to make a judgment on the whole female population.
The reason this debate even comes up is because as time goes on, increasingly so, examples like this of Reacher are going to keep happening more and more. Every TV show finds a way to get the males to take their shirts off so they can show off their physiques. And guys are kind of annoyed because a female character can't go a season without somebody talking about why them wearing this shirt is objectifying as the woman wears the sluttiest thing you've ever seen in the world to the world premiere. And they're annoyed that one is allowed and the other one is not, which is a completely separate discussion from whether, men or women actually like what they're seeing on screen. I can't know what's in the heart of another person, so it almost seems pointless to debate it. But they're wondering why one is never questioned and is actually celebrated, and the other one is vilified and told that you're inherently wrong for liking it when women wear less clothes or something like that. It's also funny, too, because I remember seeing an article about Reacher that mentions how in season 3 he has like another female sexual partner. Like it's a problematic trend, I guess, because he's sleeping around with women, and the idea is not because he's sleeping around, but it's because they're saying that the female characters aren't being given a chance to be fully developed because they're just love interests for Reacher, which of course wasn't true. The Roscoe character was great in season 1, but it's only problematic because it's not giving women the character development they want, not because they're criticizing the idea of rotating love interests. Everything guys have their power fantasy about is a problem, and they're just kind of annoyed.
Well, to what you were saying about the supposed double standard, I did just see people hand-wringing over the costume for Mystique in Avengers Doomsday. They said Rebecca Romijn, did I say that?
Yep,
right?
Rebecca Romijn. She used to be
takes
married
up to
John
7
Stamos.
hours in the makeup chair to transform into Mystique, because obviously this character doesn't wear clothes, and people were like, why can't she just be fully clothed in the movie?
I don't know. Why does Alan Rickson have to take his shirt off in every episode of Reacher?
Exactly. So people are right to notice an asymmetry there. But I think if Hollywood wants to cater to the female gaze, it's going to have to go beyond what's just visible on screen. It's also about the way that they write the character and their personality. Like one woman pointed out, some women do like Thor, but it's more about his lovable himbo vibe than just the muscles. Like it's going to have to be giving you the full package, not just something that's visible on screen. Another response said, the only time entertainment nailed the female gaze is when David Cornsweet went full dimples in Superman, and the lady behind me audibly gasped. So that's not just about David Cornsweet's physique either. It has to kind of span multiple aspects of the character, not just what he looks like shirtless. Yeah. If you're looking to really cater to what women want.
Well, I mean, then we're just talking about like differences between men and women. Men being more visually attuned and caring more about that than women. But, they would notice. It's kind of like when you talk about how men would notice if the woman wasn't wearing makeup, but they don't notice when they are. You might not notice when all of the guys are ripped and six-pack abs, but if one shows up flabby, you best believe you'd be like, huh?
Yeah. Like if Chris Pratt showed up in the MCU looking like he looked in Parks and Rec, maybe you would take notice of that.
Better exemplified by about like Fat Thor,
Thor ass.
Fat Thor from Avengers.
If he
when he's out of
stayed
shape.
fat, that wouldn't be
Yeah.
the preference of women watching either.
Imagine like they do that about like a fat woman, and the whole point is she has to then get back to 6-pack abs and be thin again.
Well, they kind of referenced that in Argyle when Bryce Dallas Howard's character remembers her past as the spy agent, and she's been out of shape for years because she was living this parallel life as a novelist, sitting on her ass all day.
I just think that
she's not like as able to fight anymore as she used to be.
Yeah. So make of all of that what you will. I think everybody's having I think there's a various amount of discussions going on about this topic.
I do think that men have projected a lot onto what they believe is desirable to women. And women do the same thing to men, to be fair. It's both ways. But yeah, I mean, I think that from a female perspective, I can verify these women are not lying. We do not generally prefer for a man to have a 0% body fat.
Well, we'll have to wait and see whether things change in Hollywood, but my guess is we get a lot more Reacher shirtless than we do, women in these cases.
I mean, a lot of men like looking at shirtless men too, straight ones included.
It was so funny because in Reacher season 3, it started to seem like they were looking for situations that would require him to remove his shirt.
They did the same thing in Witcher with Henry Cavill.
Where they're like, he had to jump into the water to escape. I'm like, well, he did that because the director was like, how can we get him to have to take his shirt off? Same thing was true of Oliver Queen in Arrow. He was always working out shirtless down there. And to be fair, in the show, they at least let Felicity be the audience and be like, I liked it when he did that.
I'm just saying there are a lot of straight men who enjoy looking at shirtless, muscly guys on TV.
The people in the chat are saying
no denying it.
People in the chat are disagreeing with you. I think what they're saying is they think that women don't know what they want, and
okay, well, women could just as easily say that men don't know what they want, and we need to teach them. But at the end of the day, you can't argue against someone saying, "I don't want to have sex with you." Like there's no like facts and logic argument that you can offer to like make someone want you. Like that's all I'm saying. And most of the guys who are commenting on this debate online look nothing like Hugh Jackman or Alan Richson. So that makes it even weirder. Like, are they hoping that women don't find them attractive? Because I guarantee they don't look like Alan Richson.
Body dysmorphia is the new trend for men now.
Yeah, they're calling it what is it called? Bigorexia? Like young men are increasingly reporting that they have body dysmorphia from going to the gym too much and like consuming a bunch of fitness content on Instagram and TikTok, and it warps their perception of how they ought to look. So they like perceive themselves in the mirror to be smaller than they actually are.
Let us know in the comments, guys, whether you agree or disagree, because it seems to be a pretty divisive issue in the chat. Let's move on to super chats. Feel free to send super chats saying you disagree with Mary.
Yeah, I would love to have a little sparring with you. Adam said her staff was like, "My turn, I want to try." On the bungee cables? Miss me with that. Yeah. I don't want to risk my life. Hell no. Shane H. Wilder.
Are you a roller coaster person?
I've actually never been on a roller coaster. Not because of any particular reason.
You just haven't ended up there?
I guess I just haven't had the opportunity because at a state fair, like when they unfold all of the equipment, I don't trust it. Like, I'm only going to go on a roller coaster at an actual theme park that has been like tested countless times. It's always set up. It's not some weird like janky fold out situation.
I love the fold out situation.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm saying I love those types of events. There's one going on back in Maryland like this week that I'm like going to try to make sure I at least get to 2 days, for the food.
I do really want to go on a roller coaster.
You should.
That's like,
it was never my thing.
On my list.
It was never my thing, but it was just one of those things that I never really cared much for it, but you should, if you've never
It's not
done
my
it, you
bucket
should.
list. It's just my list.
We had Valley Fair in Minnesota, but we also had Camp Snoopy at the Mall of America.
Camp Snoopy?
The Mall of America had rides. I mean,
Sponsored by Snoopy?
Yep. It's not Camp Snoopy
That's
anymore. I
awesome.
think it's something else. I think it's like Nickelodeon Universe or something like that now. But every time I see that, I picture a big picture of what's his name outside of the camp. But Camp Snoopy was like one of those ones where you could go on like an indoor roller coaster, and it was very novel at the time in the early. I guess that would have been like it would have been like the mid to late 90s because it was like roller coaster indoors. That's kind of cool.
I actually don't care that much about my life though, because every time that there's a state fair, I go on the swings, and those are notoriously like the least safe ride.
There you go.
People like they're literally being held up by these thin metal chains, and
Yeah.
they do break sometimes, and you just go flying.
It's like when you see those like those Instagram videos of like people who go to other countries to like fall asleep in like nets over like suspended over a mountain, and you're like,
What?
haven't you ever seen those things where it's
That's
like
terrifying.
Yeah, and it's like, and everyone's like, white people, like only white people.
No, like, it is
would
kinda
travel to.
true.
It is no, it's 100% true. It's like the meme of like in Arrow when Oliver Queen throws a jail party, and John Diggle shows up and looks at all the white people like in prison outfits, just goes, white people.
I heard a conspiracy theory that Kylie Jenner, when she started her clothing line called Kai, she sold these sweatsuits, these matching like loungewear sets, and they were actually sourced, according to some, from the wholesalers that sell to prisons. And you know, you buy like the set of joggers from
Yeah.
commissary, like literally those were the exact same sweats that she was selling on her website for like $100.
Kind of goes hard.
And you can tell
She's signed up with
because
Birkin
the pants don't have pockets.
because you can't hide your shiv in the pockets. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just my little theory. Like, what is Kylie preparing?
Is she also
us for?
selling shoes without laces?
Oh, that might have actually been another one that she was selling, but I don't remember now.
Holy crap,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Really weird.
Let's do two more.
Okay. We got a little distracted there. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Shane H. Wilder said, "It's a bag. Come the F on. It's not just women. The Rolex store requires a $1,000 appointment. They don't even keep the watches on display."
I mean, that somehow
Wow.
makes a little bit more sense to me. Like,
Why?
Because you can still buy the watch, but they don't want you to just come in and look. Like,
Well-
they want you to be financially invested enough. So the idea is two things. If you pay the $1,000 deposit and you don't buy it, you haven't wasted their time. It also weeds out people who are just going to be looking. Theoretically, then, somebody goes in, spends $1,000, doesn't buy a watch, could come back and have to spend another $1,000 to look again. So it's just them hedging their bets against,
Right.
you know,
I mean, I
somebody-
guess that the Birkin thing is worse because if you're coming in for an appointment, they're going to make you buy $20,000 worth of bullshit that you didn't want in the first place.
Yeah.
Just to like keep them on your good side, you know?
Oh.
Kind of pathetic. Brian Bledsoe said Shannon Sharp OFX got new money for a Birkin. Yeah, he came to a settlement.
Yeah.
How much money did he pay out?
I don't know. I mean,
Let me look that up.
I don't know if there was a number necessarily. It's probably private by
Well, I
terms
mean-
of the lawsuit being dropped.
We knew that Cassie got a
20
$30 million
Was it 30?
settlement payment from Diddy, so that one was public.
Yeah, there was like video of that though.
Says, oh my gosh, the OnlyFans woman got $50 million.
So half of his new contract from ESPN.
And that Texan attorney, Tony
Tony
Busby,
Buzbee.
was the one representing the OF chick.
He's like, I'm losing with who's he with? Who's the other one he was doing? He was
all
suing
of the Diddy
He's like, I'm
accusers.
losing on Diddy, but I'm winning on Shannon Sharp.
he was representing all of the Diddy accusers in their civil suits.
There must have been some crazy evidence because it's like at this point, if I was Shannon Sharp and I lost, like, didn't he lose the ESPN deal or something happened? Like, what's the point of even settling?
Yeah,
Like,
we didn't follow that story.
Your
but-
name has been soiled. right? So
You might as well fight
might
it
as well
out
freaking
at that
fight it.
point.
So the evidence must have been something crazy.
But Tony Busby said all matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed. Yeah, I imagine it's satisfying.
$50 million. The sad thing is, guys, I wonder how much Tony Busby got of that. I bet you a lot.
Ooh, yeah.
I bet you
He's
got a
rolling
lot
in
of
it.
that.
Carnell said, "Who delivered the best 'I don't want to be married to you anymore' lady message to their then now ex, Russell Brand or Jason Sudeikis?"
I don't remember the Jason Sudeikis one, though I do remember the story, but
To Olivia Wilde?
but maybe oh yeah, because on stage he delivered her the document.
Yeah,
on
the
stage.
process
oh,
server.
then Jason Sudeikis.
If anything, Katy Perry came out of the Russell Brand thing looking better than he did, because in the documentary you can see her like look at the text message and then she just goes soulless.
Yeah. Plus, I've got in general, I've got a bigger soft spot for Katy Perry than I do for Olivia Wilde.
Why?
Just cause I appreciate that Katy Perry's just trying. She's just doing her best with what she knows. It's just not working.
She's doing her best.
Olivia Wilde was never as talented as people imagined her to be. She was great in House. Other than that, bleh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Plus, Katy Perry's feminism is more novel and funnier.
It's more naive, for sure.
But it harkens back to a different time when I'm more fond of than whatever Olivia Wilde's feminism is.
Thing is, Olivia Wilde knows better.
Yep.
That-
All right, let's move on, guys. We're like a little under 2/3 of the way to a crisis party. Let's go.
Okay. A new trend spreading all over TikTok shows a bunch of young women choosing to ditch makeup on first dates with men, and they see it as kind of a power move. Before there's investment from the guy that you're dating, you're not going to invest any extra time in looking your best for the date. So this is the first question posed by Evie Magazine. Is it rude to go on a date without putting on makeup? I would say no. It's rude to go to a date without trying to look good at all.
Yeah, you've immediately started everything in bad faith.
Like obviously
it's
you
combative
should
from the very beginning.
practice basic hygiene, put on something nice to wear, smile, be polite. But I don't think that makeup necessarily has to be the bare minimum for a date. And a lot of women on TikTok are choosing to hop on this trend and sharing their experiences. Some of them are going well and others aren't. So this one girl said, "Someone told me this week to go on a first date with no makeup and then gradually put on more each date. So here is my attempt for a first date." So basically they're investing more time in their appearance the more invested the guy gets in seeing them again. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. And any guy who would ghost you for how you look without makeup probably isn't the one.
It's actually funnier if the guy gets less invested and likes you less as you put more makeup on.
Yeah, another one said she was going on a date with no makeup and not doing her hair. Just
Is that this video here?
straight out of the shower, I guess. Going with natural hair. And another one was featured in the Bustle piece about this trend, who kind of started it. Another one said, "I'm going on a first date wearing literal pajamas as a dress and without my hair or makeup done because I'm in the mood to gamble with my confidence. I'm either going to be really proud of myself or hysterically crying in 2 hours." See, the thing is, they're kind of sabotaging themselves because regardless of how well the date goes, they're going to tell themselves it was because of the makeup.
Yeah, they've set themselves up for failure on purpose.
Like, oh, it went well because I wasn't wearing makeup, or it went badly because I wasn't wearing makeup. When in reality, it probably just would have gone the same way regardless. But yeah, I don't think you should be wearing pajamas on a date. That part is rude.
I would be interested to know, just as a matter of curiosity, what their ideal attire for men would be in these cases. The comedy skit version of this is that the guy shows up that way too, and she gets mad because he shows up in pajamas.
If a guy shows up on a date with makeup, I'd be a little worried about
I'm saying
his
he shows up.
sexual orientation.
He shows up in pajamas. He puts no time into his appearance. He's like, deodorant. What's that?
Yeah, that would definitely be taken as a diss by most women, as they should be.
Or he doesn't comb his hair or something. He doesn't put any time into his appearance because you know what? It's a first date. I'm already going to be, paying for the dinner. I might as well save the use of my hair gel for another day.
Well, I've heard that we're in a chopped man epidemic. Well, now that splitting the bill is kind of accepted by a lot of society as the social convention in dating.
Wait, is that actually true? Like, do men split the bill on first dates with women?
Well, it's so unpredictable. That's why it's such a conundrum, you know? Like, a lot of men will expect that they're paying, and a lot of men will expect it to be split. So you walk into it having no idea what to expect, and if you don't know what you're getting into, why would you spend a bunch of time and money trying to do your hair and makeup, right?
Okay, then I'll make the argument.
Like, a lot of women say, we expect men to pay the bill on the date because we're spending all of this time and money trying to look good on the date.
So
that's their argument, at least.
Men should expect that if you want to, if this is the approach that you're taking to find love and settle down, that fruitless dates that you end up having to pay for is just the price you pay for the search. And for women, fruitless dates with all the time you spent into makeup is the price you pay for trying to find Mr. or Mrs. Right.
Yeah,
it's
I would
social
agree with
decorum
that.
and it's important.
I would agree with that. Yeah. So you think that women should wear makeup on a first date?
At the very least, they should do it for reasons that are non-combative, which is like, what was the full listing of reasons again? Because they don't want to invest time into something until they know that it's going to play out. Then if the guy said like, well, I don't want to invest money into something if I don't think it's going to work out. They wouldn't like it if guys said it, and they would be right.
Right.
So guys being like, look, and it's also kind of taking guys at their word, where they're like, we like women with less makeup too, so they're kind of out of arguments. But to normal people, they understand that whatever the social contract has been for as long as it has been that way, meaning that women wear makeup and guys pay for the first date, then you operate in that social construct until otherwise.
I agree with
until
you.
the guy says, you know what, I'm not a huge fan of like a ton of makeup, and then perhaps you ease up on it because that's his preference. But that would be sacrificing for him. They're not sacrificing for anyone here. A guy who says that he's not going to pay on the first date and says it's about wanting women to be able to be strong and independent is lying. And a woman saying, I'm not going to wear makeup on the first date because men say they don't want it is also lying.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Frankly, I was always a little wary of a woman who was overly made up on a first date. Always liked the no makeup look. Maybe being a fashion photographer for a year affected my judgment.
Perhaps so.
Well, it definitely makes you more knowledgeable on the subject than most men. I think that's where you go wrong. Wearing too much or none at all is not the right move. Like, something minimal would be the preference of most men. But interestingly, none of the women participating in this trend are mentioning men's preferences whatsoever. Yeah. None of them are saying, oh, I'm going on these dates without makeup because men keep saying that they want me not to wear it. Or they're trying to put off men. It has nothing to do with that. It's just dating off of dating apps is so low investment as it is. Why should I try? And that's a little bit of a defeatist mindset.
Yeah, at that point, you shouldn't be surprised when things don't work out. Yeah. There's actually something inherently more engaging about the idea that you keep trying and it doesn't always work out. And that's kind of the beautiful problem of it all, is that you keep like, that's what the movies are about. There is no movie about I just fucking gave up and just like maybe there's a movie idea behind the woman who goes on a date where she finally gives up and puts on no makeup, actually meets the right guy, because that's kind of novel and cute. But otherwise, the romantic notion is that it keeps going badly, but because you want love and you want commitment and you want to fall in love, get married and have kids, you keep trying.
Yeah, if anything, in my view, putting on the makeup is worth it simply because you're mentally preparing yourself for the date. In a way, it's like putting you in the headspace to present yourself the best you possibly can to this other person instead of just showing up out of bed. But the experts disagree with me. They sourced a couple of opinions from clinical psychologists in this think piece on the trend. One of them said that eschewing tradition and showing up with bare skin may help weed out the people who wouldn't be a good match. If someone you date loses interest simply because you weren't wearing makeup, that's useful information.
It's not about not wearing makeup. It's about they're perceiving it as that you're not trying.
They
that you
also
didn't
say
care.
this trend is a way to signal to yourself, not the other person, that you're enough just as you are. It's like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Sincerely, somebody who's never at their best.
This can be especially powerful for those healing from perfectionism, people-pleasing, or anxious attachment. That's always the talk of attachment styles, right?
Again, that's
To your
just
date-
that's just a cope excuse to not try.
To your date, it may communicate confidence, self-acceptance, and authenticity, and that can set the tone for a relationship when you're not afraid to show up as your full self. I just don't think that anything about dressing up or putting on makeup or doing your hair detracts from who you are.
I've also never been the person who I never understood the idea of men's dislike for makeup. Like the online discourse
From a male
around,
perspective,
yeah. Like I never
yeah.
understood the online discourse around the idea of like why that's such a bad. Like I get it. There's the over the top extreme examples, usually paired with extensive noticeable plastic surgery and over the top extremely opulent choice in clothing that signals to a specific type of person.
Right.
But in general, I see somebody in the chat mention that guy's makeup, meaning me's, your beard is a guy's makeup. Ever seen those memes about the guy who shaves and he's got no chin and he's just dysgenic looking? And that's true. Like for me, I don't like the way that I look without facial hair. Unless I have no glasses on. I'm okay with it if I'm not wearing glasses. With glasses, I do not like the look of my face without facial hair of some length.
Well, okay. If we're to look at the argument that makeup is lying or makeup is false advertisement, and for guys, facial hair is their version of makeup, and it's a form of lying about how you look, I just think that's ridiculous because, you know, you can tell pretty easily if a guy has a beard that's covering no chin. Like, and
I mean,
you can tell
that's an
when
extreme
someone's
example.
sitting right in front of you and she is caked in makeup,
Yeah.
you can tell exactly how this person looks. There's no hiding it. You can hide it on a photo. You can hide it on Instagram or on Tinder, right? That's easy. But showing up in person, you can tell immediately what the person really looks like. And one of these women, actually, who hopped on this trend and went to a first date without makeup, said that the guy was super excited to see her, was messaging her consistently before the date, and then afterwards she got ghosted.
Now, was she wearing a ton of makeup in the
She was
pictures?
probably just wearing like a
normal
somewhere
and-
in the middle.
But also maybe some filters on those
pictures, yeah.
photos, and then the guy saw her and he was like, "Damn."
Right, exactly. And women do notice what men seem to prefer on social media or when it comes to OnlyFans or whatever. A lot of women who have extensive cosmetic procedures, plastic surgery, heavy makeup, and editing. And then they think, well, I should just conform to that standard because that's what men seem to prefer. And then men tell them that they prefer the opposite. So it's just inevitably confusing for everyone involved. And then someone like Pamela Anderson or Alicia Keys or any number of celebrities who decide not to wear makeup in public get trashed for it.
I will say I've done my fair share of trashing on Pamela Anderson, not because of the not makeup thing, but because she's made it like her entire identity now. Like this is her identity, and it's this shaming of the culture that made her rich.
Sure.
Behind it, which I find to be a little bit put on and a little bit phony.
Well, this is an example of that from a recent interview where she talked about not wearing makeup on red carpets.
A rebel.
I would wonder, before we watch this, if nobody was willing, if everybody just ignored her and just said, and asked her the regular questions, didn't make it a focus of conversation if she would keep doing it. Then I would be on board and say, okay, you're practicing what you preach, and it's about what you're doing, not about the attention it's getting you. But as long as it's brought up in every interview and she's celebrated for it, I'm like,
Well, she can't control how people react to it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if she wasn't doing it, I wonder if she would keep it up. Perhaps she would. I
That's
don't know.
an interesting question.
Move is to be who you want to be. Like, what is beauty? Beauty is subjective. And
Disagree.
we don't have to look like the covers of magazines. We don't have to do the industry standard, which everybody was so horrified when I decided I didn't need a glam team for certain events. You know, I'd rather go look at architecture at the museum when I was in Paris. I thought, you know, who's looking at me? I'm clothed from head to toe with these big hats and, you know, this much of my face is sticking out. Is anyone going to really fall over backwards if I'm not wearing makeup? And that's where it started at Paris Fashion Week. And it just sent everybody scrambling around me thinking, no.
The choice to, I'm sorry. The choice to do it at Fashion Week is 110% not because, I just thought, you did not just think. You thought deeply about it.
Well, she is referring to not going to an official event, but just sightseeing during the day, like doing whatever.
All right, here we go.
This is not what people do. And I said, well, that even gives me more reason to do it. And not that it was, you know, world peace or anything, but it was just me challenging myself, thinking, why am I sitting in a makeup chair for 3 hours when no one's looking at me? Like, what am I? And even if they were, why am I doing this? Because this just seems like a habit. And not that I'm opposed to makeup, because I love getting dressed up and glammed up. And I just felt like it was time I had nothing to lose. And I felt I'm not trying to create a persona right now. I'm not trying to be famous. I need to use my position to experiment and open up conversations.
Ironically enough, she is trying to create a persona right now. It's a persona around the idea of I'm the one who goes to events without makeup on.
Yeah, but granted, she did say, I'm not achieving world peace or anything. It's not like a big deal.
Yes.
She doesn't seem to think that it's as big of a deal as people make it out to be.
I get, maybe it's because I grew up in the 90s at the time when her type of beauty, that blonde bombshell type of beauty, was so prevalent that now it feels like she's going completely in the opposite direction, specifically for the course of reinventing herself. I just find it to be a tad dishonest.
In a form of
if we're talking,
protest.
because she mentioned Paris Fashion Week in some non-red carpet event, but it's the red carpet events that she goes to while she's doing this. Now, if she followed the normal rules of social decorum around those events and she went in her makeup and whatever, and then chose to live the rest of her life this way, that's different. But to say that you're not creating a persona, but then go out of your way to break the norms of every single one of these events, that tells me that it is a persona. And at the very least, I interpret that as you haven't really thought through what you're doing, or at the other end, you have, and you're framing it in a tone of virtue that I don't 110% buy.
Well, I
Just
see
my
what you
opinion.
mean, that it's a performance of not performing.
Correct.
In and of itself.
That's what I mean.
And
I'm not trying to say, I'm not saying anything rude about her. I think more than anything, it's not the idea which would normally happen in these situations, which is the idea of like pulling up the ladder behind you, where she says, the way I was dressed back then was problematic. She's not doing that. That would be infinitely worse. If she was like, well, you know, the way things were in the 90s, like we can't do that anymore. She's not doing that. So I'll give her credit for that. She's not shaming the women that do want to do that. But I just find that maybe perhaps she hasn't thought it through entirely, or she's being just a tad intellectually dishonest about why she does it.
It's performatively non-performative. And it's
yes,
a
I do.
message that definitely comes off a different way coming from an actress, a celebrity who goes to these events compared to a random girl who's going on Hinge dates, right? Like, I think that the women who are going away from makeup on first dates aren't doing so to make a statement necessarily. They're just probably reacting to the fact that the dating world is dead in the water, and like they're kind of giving up on putting in more effort because, again, like meeting up with someone from a dating app is the lowest level of investment you could possibly have.
And the guy shows up in his joggers and in a stained shirt, and she shows up in sweatpants.
I'm sure a lot of guys do
and
stuff
no
like
makeup,
that.
and you know.
I'm sure a lot of guys do show up to dates without putting any effort into how they dress or.
I
you know,
do
their
like the
hygiene.
idea that there's a guy who like they go out to dinner and he's like, you know, so we split in the chat. Like, you came in sweatpants. Like, I just assumed this was just a friend
That's
thing.
a whole other conversation. I just saw EV Magazine compiled a bunch of quotes from female celebrities who say they never wear sweatpants. They refuse to wear sweatpants.
I did not like what was it Ava Longoria or whoever it was.
It was Ava
like,
Mendes said that wearing
one,
sweatpants is the #1 cause of divorce. And I was like, okay, you're being a little dramatic right now.
You like, if that's what you think, like if you had said like, you know, letting yourself go, maybe, but that's like the saying that gives the vibe of like she's just the meanest person you've ever met, but she thinks that it's the sweatpants she's wearing while she's being mean, not her being mean, that causes a divorce. But otherwise, if you say no, letting yourself go,
that's what the sweatpants represent.
Yeah.
And the sweatpants represent not trying anymore, not showing up as your best self.
And yes, chat, I do remember Barbed Wire and the show VIP.
Let's finish up these super chats. Adam said, no controlling the drone for Katy in the air. It's like kids in the backstage grabbing the controller saying, I want to try. Yeah. Yeah, she does have a drone operator. What's this guy doing?
I don't know.
Is he high?
Probably.
Arsenal Man.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. Arsenal Man said, theme parks are less safe because they get inspected less frequently. Pop-up fairs get inspected every time they set up.
Oh, I mean, I don't blame them. Like, if I'm the city and I let you set up in my town and then something goes wrong and somebody's like, what, you didn't inspect them before you let the children of your community get into this cart rocketing around these tracks at X amount of hours?
I don't know. Like, I still don't trust the fair rides. Just the fact that they can get collapsed in, like, 5 hours, to me, is, like, a sign that I shouldn't go on it. And
I have
those rides that are like, there are no harnesses or whatever, there are no buckles, you just get in this big this big like circle, and it just spins you around. That shit terrifies me, especially if somebody throws up and then their throw up is gonna get splattered all over the walls. I'm not taking the risk. No.
I have a soft spot for the traveling carnival because it speaks to an age of Americana, like that's just not prevalent anymore. It's like when you.
It's my fun fact about the invention of pink lemonade.
Do tell.
Well, there's this big circus, right, and everybody's really thirsty because it's hot outside, and the lemonade stand owner runs out of water for the lemonade, so he decides to go to the circus tent, and he goes to the big vat of water where all the clowns wash their red tights.
No.
And he steals the water from the sock juice, from the clown sock juice, and he makes it into lemonade, and everyone loves it.
Sock juice is delicious.
I mean, lemons aren't pink. Where did you think it came from?
It's like, where are the brown cows for my chocolate milk?
Sorry, you were on something about state fairs.
I just you know, or carnivals in general, right? The insular life of carny folk and traveling across the country. It feels like one of those things. If you ever watched any TV show that would do an episode around carnivals and those who kind of choose that life, about their distrust of outsiders, people not of their community. And you think about that stuff now, and it feels like it just becomes, as the internet becomes more prevalent, it's like somebody's going to join the circus just so they can get TikTok famous making videos about joining the circus.
True.
And nothing feels insular or of its own culture anymore. Everything feels homogenized.
Is carny
You're
a
too
slur?
Connected. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, but
yeah, there should be like a TV show about carnies.
I'm sure that's been done.
I would definitely watch a TV show about a traveling circus. The drama, can you imagine? Did freak shows survive woke?
Probably not. I know a lot of TV shows would do. I know a lot of people who have been critics for and against, where the people who are critical of the people who are critical of it say, "Thank you." Say that you know, you're taking away somebody's ability to make a living for politically correct reasons.
Like the people who are the freaks of the freak show.
Yeah, they're like, it's like criticizing Peter Dinklage for pulling up the ladder behind him for Snow White.
Can't stand that guy.
There you go.
Yeah, and he did physical comedy about his size all the time.
Earlier
Never
in
thought
his
it was
career.
offensive
Yeah.
for decades. And suddenly when Snow White wants some dwarves, it's a problem? Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, fair roller coasters are of two sorts, boring kids coaster and physically unsound death trap that could leave you falling to your demise any minute. Well, that's part of the thrill, I guess.
Well, yeah, you want to take the risk.
I would go on one at like Hershey Park or something. That seems
I
trustworthy.
still haven't been to Hershey Park.
I've been several times, but it's been a while. I
I'm
want
just
to go
trying
to the factory and eat chocolate.
I'm just trying to go through all the mini golf places in the area.
You're on a
I do
mini
love
golf tour.
I do love a good game of mini golf.
Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, I don't care if she doesn't wear makeup on the first date. Just don't steal my food. You know, I'm still going to defend those girls. I'm going to defend the girls who are stealing salads.
Wait, how? Oh, yeah.
They're getting creative and resourceful, trying to find a husband in the city.
As long as it's not more than salad. If you steal a steak, you deserve to have like a strike against your channel.
Like all of the guys on like who work in investment banking on the same floor are like, wait, you got your salad stolen too?
Now they're all buying extra salads to get them stolen,
Like it's
so that women
becoming
will ask
a conspiracy.
Yeah, they're like, now what we do is we buy an extra salad so that we can have it stolen and get lunch and
What's
a
next?
date.
Like stealing mail? These women are going to end up in prison. Brian Bledsoe said, check out Firebird and Superman at Six Flags America.
I have not.
Is there just one Six Flags?
No, there's more than one Six Flags.
I've never been there
because there's
either.
one in in Wisconsin.
Never been to Busch Gardens. I've never been to Disney. My family was not a theme park family, really.
In the chat, Captain O says, yeah, let's defend theft. Mary's not defending theft.
Well, I kind of am.
She kind of is. But, you know, she's saying that
I think they have good intentions. They're trying to find love.
I think they're just lazy and want the food.
They're trying to return the salads, though. They're texting the
Right.
guy, and they're like, oh my gosh, I think I just stole your salad. Like, so sorry. Do you want to meet up on whatever?
You want to get coffee and talk about how I stole your salad?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're just trying to find a man. I can't fault them for that. They're very creative. I'll give them credit. Shane H. Wilder said, I would say if the woman wears makeup daily, then go with your normal makeup. Wear nice clothes. This goes for both sexes, and you'll be fine. Yeah, like it'd be one thing if they only wear makeup for dates because they feel like they have to put on a show or something, but most women are going to wear some level of makeup on a daily basis to work or whatever,
Yeah.
and it only makes sense that you would do the same thing on a date.
Yeah.
There's something, I don't know, a little bit try hard about posting about it though. Easy-E said, no makeup is going to come off as no effort, and guys who know better or have self-respect aren't going to invest more in a girl who appears disinterested. That's friend zone and simp behavior. I kind of agree with that. And it's funny because last week we were talking about this viral post asking men, hey, what would you think if you showed up to a first date and the woman was, you know, wearing no makeup, had her hair in a messy bun, and she's wearing sweatpants? And like all of these men were saying that they would love that. And I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, you know, you're lying.
Well, no, it's not even that they're lying. It's that their brain is framing it around the context of the discussion about women put on too much makeup.
Or that they're like lying to themselves in a way. Because they really would prefer for a woman to show up to a date putting like effort into her appearance.
Yeah.
But they were trying to act like it signals that she's like authentic or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That just comes off as BS to me.
The what's the proper amount of makeup? Is it like you have to wear the exact same amount of makeup as you normally wear? You shouldn't put more time into it.
Yeah, I would
Like,
say
don't
so.
overdo it. Plus, you're liable to not do it as well if you have to put on more than you're normally doing because you've got your normal amount that you put on every day, and then if you try to go overboard and something goes wrong.
When you see all of those memes that are like, take her swimming on the first date, guys. Like,
No, man, take her to
whatever.
a sauna and let
Like,
it melt off.
they're posting these pictures of women from like 15 years ago, and from my perspective, like paying attention to the trends, wearing that much makeup isn't even fashionable anymore. Like, women don't really wear as much makeup as they did in the 2010s.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of it is because of COVID, because, you know, everyone was wearing masks or they weren't leaving the house at all. So makeup sales tanked at that point, and then it never really made a comeback.
Wait, so how the
afterwards.
hell did Hailey Bieber and Selena Gomez become billionaires if makeup sales tanked? Somebody better start investigating this. I want the SEC on this.
I think it's because they were selling more like natural looking products and like
They were selling
skincare.
phone cases. That's
And
why.
phone cases. That always works. We have another from the Manic Mustache. Late as usual, but apropos to true terror. Spend 2 years as a carny while my mustache was taking a semester off in Spain. Stay toxic, my friends. You did? You were a carny? I need to know the details.
I would like to know what that was like.
Yeah.
I
Tell
would
your
be
story.
interested to know. Like those okay, the reason why I find that to be so fascinating is because that's like it feels like one of the things, like one of the great things about television in like the early, I mean, really for all of the history of television up until 2017 or 2018 is like every show that was on like a network would do a couple episodes a year where they kind of put their main characters into some unique subculture or hobby.
Yeah.
And yes,
to like differentiate them.
well, I mean, to kind of, it's just, it puts their characters into a position they're never going to be in normally. Usually it's in the later seasons because they've exhausted all of the traditional stories that, you know, it's an FBI agent. So you can only do so many regular-ish cases if the show doesn't take itself too seriously before you start putting them in weird places, right? I remember the show The Glades did an episode where this cop investigates like a freak show.
Oh.
And they actually have the theme around it being like some of them wanting it to be done away with because they felt it was politically incorrect.
Yeah.
And other people who worked there who were part of it, or at least had family members that made money off of it, saying like, you're taking away people's ability to make a living. Other shows did episodes at carnivals or with, something that's a subculture that you don't find yourself in on a normal everyday whim. And the point of it is it allowed the characters to enter new environments. And yes, oftentimes it would be over the top, probably got a lot wrong, but I would argue that it was never done with malice.
Can you imagine like being one of the carnies who consults the screenwriters for an episode like that?
That's a thing.
You
like,
charge a consulting fee as a carny.
They would be people would be brought on to a lot of times it was just
Hey, clown expert here.
those writers were expected to do a lot of
Yeah.
research to make stuff feel authentic, and usually it doesn't work because television as a whole doesn't work when it feels too real. It has to feel over the top, otherwise it's not that interesting. Unless we're talking about serious dramas. But that type of show that kind of episode has gone by the wayside because everybody's afraid of the internet coming and saying that they're offended by something.
Right. Shane H. Wilder said, random facts, all tilt-a-whirls are made in Plainview, Texas. Also, Six Flags originated in Texas, named after the Six Flags that flew over Texas. Spain, France, Mexico, Republic of Texas, USA, Confederate.
Interesting.
You have a lot of Texas lore up there.
I didn't know that.
Omega Red fan said, is it flirting if she can't stop gazing? Yeah.
Yes.
Eye contact
That or
is a
you've
good
got
sign.
that or you've got something on your face.
Yeah, you might want to check in the mirror. Manic Mustache said, I'll drop my carny experience in Discord.
Very interesting.
Okay, well, you guys are going to have to report back. I'm not on the Discord.
Do you find has your your makeup routine changed over time? I imagine that it has.
Yes.
Like you figure out.
Yes.
I mean, like the thing is though, is like I imagine that as a woman, that's the type of thing where you have to kind of find what works for you.
Changed over time is an understatement. If you look at old episodes of the show, you can see that pretty clearly. Yeah,
It was like I remember Olivia like talking to a friend, and they were talking about makeup, and like they were like quizzing me on if I knew what any of this stuff was called, and I'm like
what?
Wouldn't it be I don't know because I don't know the name of any of it.
Okay.
And I was like, wouldn't it be like an ultra red flag if I knew the name of everything that you were using
Sure, yeah.
That's weird.
Then you would be breaking the fourth wall in a way. I stopped putting mascara on my bottom eyelashes at a certain point. I stopped putting eyeshadow under my eyes. That helped a lot.
There you go.
But a lot of it also just comes with growing up and not looking like a kid anymore.
Yep.
I looked horrendous like a few years ago, but those times are long gone.
Does it also get easier to apply it? Like you're quicker with it than you were when it first started? Like
I've been putting on makeup since I was like 12.
But I'm saying like you
So,
can get
I mean,
it done. You can get it done in a pinch really fast if you need to.
I wouldn't say really fast,
But fast
like,
enough.
Fast enough, I guess. But I've been, literally I've been putting on makeup since middle school, so it's like nothing to me. Adam Lee said, come to Florida, Busch Garden, Disney, or Universal, your pick. Just no pirate boat rides. Traumatized from kids spitting in the past.
Ew.
Spitting? Like what? Like spitting into the water? I'm so confused.
That's disgusting.
I don't think I'm ever going to go to Disney in my lifetime. Like, I don't think I'll ever want to spend money on that. I would much rather spend it on like an actual destination.
Me and Olivia decide, like, I mean, it was kind of decided, like, for me. When we have kids, we'll go to Disney.
Well, that makes it acceptable.
I was like, I am not going, I have no interest in going to Disney World or Land. I don't really have an interest in going to theme parks or any of that stuff in general. I know there's probably a decent amount of people in the chat that like that stuff, like whether it's Universal or Disney. I don't really have an interest in it, but you make sacrifices for your kids. So if I have kids, or when we have kids, I should say, we will go to the theme park.
At Disney, they have like drinking around the world or whatever.
Well, if I still drank, I
would do that.
If I could,
for sure.
If I still drank, I would do that. But
Someone mentioned Dollywood. I heard they have great cinnamon bread.
See, but the thing is, if I only go to Dollywood, then I'm being a hipster.
Yeah. Yeah, but like that's okay.
No.
Sometimes being a hipster is okay.
That's debatable.
I think that I was just telling you right before we started the stream that I really appreciate the Thistle and Thorn hipster millennials who
attention to
they really cared about the quality of beer and coffee, and they raised the bar for consumers. We have a Rumble rant, don't we?
Yes, we do. From Serenko says, everyone saying something is a recession indicator is a recession indicator. Also, using Rumble rants instead of YouTube Super Chats is a recession indicator.
Well, we're not replacing them. We're not replacing YouTube Super Chats with Rumble rants, but...
Correct.
Yeah, I would say people calling everything a recession indicator is in and of itself a recession indicator.
There you go. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel, perhaps if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Again, please and thank you. You should go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We really do appreciate it. So, Mary, where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at MaryArchived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also MaryArchived, and help me get TikTok famous. That is also MaryArchived.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which also helps us out a lot. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at PopCultureCrisis, Instagram at PopCultureCrisisPod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow, but first, Mary has to read one more super chat.
From Shane H. Wilder. First dates require effort, but it's not hard. As guys, we just need to wear some nice jeans or slacks, a button-up shirt, and some nice shoes. I mean, guys do have it easier in the getting ready department, but they do have to pay for the bill.
There you go. So
That's my take.
everybody pitches in.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
it's a team effort.
everybody gets something out of it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what a positive way to end the show. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.